everyone, this is Berman. I'm going to speak to you a few minutes about my project, which is bringing light into the world, Hidor Mitzvah and Hanukkah. In trying to decide how I wanted to present Hanukkah in my 3 lesson plans, I realized that one of the critical points of discussion is related to the debate between Beit Hillel and Beit Shammai on how we are to light the candles. As we know, we follow the tradition of Beit Hillel, which is to add 1 candle for each night so that on the 8th night we have a full menorah. The concept being that we make our mitzvot more beautiful, we increase them, we don't diminish them. So I decided that we could move forward with a project on Hidor Mitzvah because what I wanted to do is help children understand the concept of Hidor Mitzvah. I want them to know about the reason why we do our candle lighting the way we do, but I also wanted to expand their thinking related to the fact that Hidor Mitzvah is not just about making things pretty or using a really nice, Torah scroll that's beautifully decorated. Hidor Mitzvah, we can beautify our mitzvot in other ways, and that's really what my lesson plan is about. However, for this particular video, I wanted to discuss a little bit about the lunar calendar. I realized that Stephanie did this as well, but her focus was Rosh Chodesh. What I found in this course this semester was an appreciation for the interplay between nature and the Jewish holidays, which I really hadn't contemplated in the past. And so you might want to pull up my document, Hanukkah and the Moon PDF, only because I think when I put up the picture in front of you, you're not going to see very much. So if you want to take a moment to take a look for that, that would be great. You can stop this video and go do that. What I wanted to say about Hanukkah and the lunar calendar, when I talk to my kids about the Jewish holidays, I do like to stress to them that we're an ancient people. We've been around thousands of years. One of the reasons I stress that is because I feel that there's something impressive about being part of something that is thousands of years old. I also want to impress upon them that our lives were very different back in the beginning of our days as the Jewish people. I mean, we didn't have cell phones and computers and all kinds of gaming and all of those other things. And we also lived much more closely in tune with the land and in tune with the cycles of nature. We didn't have digital clocks and we didn't have cell phones to check what time it was. We lived with the sun, we went to sleep with the moon, and we would look up into the night sky to see how time passed. So if I were talking to the children at this point, I'd be asking them, do you guys ever look up at the moon at night? Does it look the same every night? And of course they'll say no, and I'll ask why, and then we'll have some kind of discussion about the fact that the moon is smaller at different times of the month and it's larger at different times of the month. And at that point, what I would get into with them is, first of all, I try to give them some Jewish calendar awareness because in our Reform synagogue we don't have a lot of that. So I would probably list the calendar months on the board and perhaps point out which holidays belong to which calendar. A lot of the times the kids want to know, what months do those calendar months relate to in our calendar. I explain that they're not the same, but that these are approximate connections. All this to say, what I really want to get at is, our lunar months are like 29 or 30 days in length, and we know that the moon starts off almost invisible and then gets bigger as it waxes until the middle of the month when it becomes a full moon. We know at that point the moon starts diminishing in our ability to see it, and it wanes until the end of the month when it becomes almost invisible again. One of the things that I share with the kids is, especially during the summer, because I'm such a huge Sukkot fanatic, that I start looking up at the sky and say, how many more moons is it going to be? How many more full moons is it going to be until Sukkot? So I mean, even though, we're modern people, we still can look up in a night sky and think about when our holidays are coming. The interesting part is, if we look through our holidays, we realize that the beginning of Pesach and the beginning of Sukkot are right at the middle of the month, so you're going to see a huge moon at those times. We know that Tu B'Shvat being the 15th of the month and Tu B'Av being the 15th of the month will also, you'll see a huge moon, weather permitting, of course, in all of these instances. Purim even, at the 13th of Adar, you're going to see a pretty sizable moon. However, what about Hanukkah? And I asked the kids if they know the date of Hanukkah. Well, it's the 25th of Kislev and goes to the beginning of Tevet. So if you're on a 30-day cycle, you realize that the 25th day is almost towards the end of the cycle. And so Hanukkah, we're really having this holiday at the very darkest time, the end of one month and the beginning of the next month. It's the very darkest time between Kislev and Tevet. And also, at least in our area in the east coast of the United States, it's the winter time and we have the shortest days. So from a lunar perspective and a solar perspective, we're sitting at the very darkest part of the year. And what does Hanukkah celebrate? It celebrates light. In the Seasons of Our Joy, Arthur Waskow also mentions the fact that there are some parallels between Hanukkah and Sukkot, one of which is the fact that at Sukkot there is, I guess, a water festival. I think it's called Beit Shoeva. I'm not really sure about that one, to be honest, and we didn't really discuss it. But essentially, at Sukkot, when you're sitting at a time when you're starting to get ready for Atzeret, when we start, we start praying for rain in the Amidah, there's a comparison there to the fact that we bring all of this light at Hanukkah because we're kind of trying to invoke more light at the darkest time of the year in the hope that, the light that we enjoy during other parts of the year will be restored as we move forward into the winter months. So if you're looking at that Hanukkah moon PDF, you'll see that I have on the second page a picture of phases of the moon. I pulled this from last Hanukkah from the Farmer's Almanac. So if we look and see where the first candle was to where the 8th candle ended, you'll see that there was practically no moon visible at all. And so one really needs to think, when Hanukkah occurred, was this historically relevant, or was it really about the fact that this was the most natural time of the month to actually have this. So anyway, I just wanted to point that out, that Hanukkah comes at a time when we need the light the most, and that's probably not coincidental. And that's okay. I think that's still, we want to bring more light in our lives, and again, we're bringing it more physically at Hanukkah, and what my lesson plan will do is to show you ways that we can bring it more spiritually and more emotionally into our lives through Hidor Mitzvah, through the actions we take. Anyway, it was a delight studying with all of you. I really and truly love this course and enjoyed it so much. Thank you, Susie. Thank you, everybody, for being great classmates. Lots of love and have a great summer. Bye.